Welcome in to NFL Daily. I am your host, Jack Sperry. On today's show, a very juicy video. Going to be rattling some people today. I got my list of the top 5 most overrated quarterbacks in the National Football League as it stands right now. It's going to be a fiery video, so make sure you stick around to the end. But first, before we get into all of the great, awesome content today, who is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, in your opinion, right now? Let me know down in the comments section, and let's get into today's video. And in no particular order here, these are just the top 5 most overrated quarterbacks. First one we're going to be going over today is none other than the New Orleans Saints quarterback, Derek Carr. Now, if you take a look at his numbers from last season, now throughout this video, you're going to see some advanced analytics, so I'm going to be explaining what those mean here for just a little bit. BTT is big time throw percentage. That is a number that Pro Football Focus kind of collects, and he only had a 4% big time throw percentage last year, which was tied for 23rd. Pro Football Focus defines a big time throw as a very difficult throw, something that's really, really difficult to do, whether on the run or very difficult placement, whatever it may be. Only 4% of Carr's throws last year were big-time throws, and then he complemented that with a 3.3 turnover-worthy play percentage. Okay, so those are kind of like the big plays, right? The big-time plays, and then the plays that could be turning the ball over. Those are kind of the two big plays in a quarterback's life. And, to rank 23rd in those two categories just isn't all that great. Then you got accuracy rating, and what that is adjusted completion percentage minus expected completion percentage. And last year it was just 8.8 for Derek Carr. So that was 26th in the National Football League, so that differential there was not fantastic. Then QBR, a lot of NFL fans are familiar with QBR. 55.5 last year out of 100. That was 14th in the National Football League. And then wins above replacement per game started, a very important saber metric that NFL front offices use all the time to determine the value of players. Last year, Carr was worth about 0.1 wins per game. So, for every 10 games, he's worth a win, which was 19th in the National Football League. Now, I would say, Saints fans, don't get your hopes up too high for Derek Carr, okay? I think that Carr is still viewed as kind of like a franchise quarterback by a lot of people in the league, and a lot of people blame his struggles on Josh McDaniels last year in Las Vegas. But I'm telling you, after watching the film on Derek Carr and that Josh McDaniels offense last year, Derek Carr doesn't get enough of the blame here. He's got some of the worst pocket presence in the National Football League. This guy leaves clean pockets more than just about anybody in the league right now, and it's infuriating because Josh McDaniels would get like Devontae Adams wide open down the field, and then Derek Carr's just too scared to stick in the pocket and deliver the deep shot. Like, it's just so infuriating to watch Derek Carr play football because he plays like a scared little puppy dog. And, you just can't be that number one alpha type quarterback in the National Football League unless you can stick in those tough pockets and deliver those tough shots down the field. Derek Carr won't be doing that. So for me, I think he's going to bust in New Orleans, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section for today's pinned comment. Will Derek Carr boom or bust in New Orleans? Type boom in all caps or bust in all caps. Again, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so here's what's going to happen. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Another overrated quarterback in my book is the newly signed Raiders quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, right now, we don't even know if Jimmy G is going to be playing for the Raiders this year. The reports are saying that, he's probably going to play, but to this point, he has not passed a physical. And if you take a look at his numbers over the last couple of years, specifically last year with San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan's the best in the National Football League at drawing up plays to give these quarterbacks easy throws for chunk plays, and it really boosts their numbers. But you take a look at kind of the more analytical stuff, the more big-time throws, only 4%, so he was tied with Derek Carr there tied for 23rd. The turnover-worthy play percentage was lower at 2.6, which is 13th. Accuracy rating was at a 6, which is 35th in the National Football League. So what does that mean? That means that Kyle Shanahan was producing a ton of these wide-open throws for Jimmy Garoppolo. The expected completion percentage, number 1 was Jimmy Garoppolo, and then number 2 was Brock Purdy. That tells you just how good of a play caller Kyle Shanahan is because of that expected completion percentage for his quarterbacks. QBR 16th, and then wins above replacement per game started was 22nd. So for me, Jimmy Garoppolo is just somebody that is just very mid, probably below average, to be honest with you. He's not somebody that's very good at targeting outside the numbers. He's more of an inside the numbers kind of guy. Now, he is pretty accurate to the short to intermediate part of the field. He does stick in tough pockets, so Raiders fans will at least appreciate that. And then also he plays with really good footwork, and when he's in rhythm and everything's there, he can deliver those throws. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in Las Vegas, but his lack of ability to throw the ball deep, I think is going to affect his relationship with Davante Adams in a way Raiders fans really don't want this year. So coming up here, I'm going to be breaking down some other quarterbacks that I think are overrated, but if the summer's here, guys, we need to get some coverage for our faces, for our heads. And if you want a nice hat for the summer here for your NFL team, we got a bunch on the Chat Sports website for you to choose from. Go to chatsports.com/NFL hats. We got hats for every single team in the National Football League. You just saw that Seahawks one. I really like this Dolphins one personally. If I was in Miami, I would totally be rocking this one. We've got a Broncos one that's really good. We've gotten for all 32 NFL teams. We got a bunch of different designs for every team. So pick out the one that you like. And we've got them for great prices on the Chat Sports website. So go to chatsports.com/NFL hats to get your summer hat today. All right, now we're going to go to the next quarterback here on my list, which is going to be none other than another San Francisco quarterback, Brock Purdy. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been somebody that's been defending Brock Purdy against the people that says that he just sucks. Okay, Brock Purdy doesn't suck. He's somebody that you can win with, especially if your offensive play caller is Kyle Shanahan. But you take a look at his profile from last year, expected completion percentage was second in the National Football League, only second to Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, so it's obvious that Kyle Shanahan is scheming a bunch of stuff up for his quarterbacks. The adjusted completion percentage was 77.4, which was seventh in the league, so he's not doing too bad in that regard. But that accuracy rating, when you take the differential there, is only 8.4, which was 28th in the league last year. So he's definitely being a little bit overrated in terms of his ability to make those big-time throws, which was tied for 37th in the National Football League. There's definitely a lot of wide open in-breakers in that San Francisco 49ers offense, and Brock Purdy is the beneficiary of that in the stat line. And then he was 10th in turnover-worthy plays, so that's not too bad, top 10. Protecting the football. So I think that Brock Purdy is the type of guy that you can win with when you have guys like Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and you got the run game that San Francisco has. Brock Purdy is a very good system quarterback, but let's just call it what it is. That's what he is. He is a system quarterback. He's not going to be able to go to a team and carry an offense on his back. Now, I think that he's slightly better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's going to be a better pro than Jimmy G was in San Francisco. I think the Niners have a better shot at winning a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. But let's not kid ourselves, right? If we play Brock Purdy at like Indianapolis, he's not playing very good, all right? He's essentially a scrub if he's going to be asked to carry an NFL offense at this point in his career. So do you want more top 5 NFL videos here on Chat Sports for free on YouTube? Go ahead and like today's video. The more you guys like it, the more we're going to have videos just like this on the channel. It's a free and easy way to help us, help support the channel, helps tell the YouTube algorithm to push our videos out to more NFL fans like yourself. So I really do appreciate all the support. All right, now we're getting into some controversial territory here where, yes, I have Kyler Murray on my list of overrated quarterbacks. Okay, so what's interesting about Kyler is that last year he just completely fell off a cliff, okay? It was incredible to see what he was able to do. Before, he was one of the most accurate deep ball passers in the National Football League, and then all of a sudden, he just couldn't throw a deep ball accurately. It was absolutely incredible. And then also, he wasn't that impressive as a runner either. So I'm looking at Kyler Murray, and when he was healthy last season, before he had that really major ACL tear, which could be a major effect on his knee and his running ability moving forward, I mean, I'm just looking at Kyler Murray, and I'm looking at his numbers, and I'm like, I know that you didn't have the best offensive line, right? I know you didn't have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games of the year. But just take a look at these, man. Does this really look like a star quarterback to you? Big-time throw percentage last year, tied for 35th. So he's obviously not capable of overcoming a bad roster, right? Turnover-worthy play percentage, 3.8, which was 31st in the league. So he was definitely putting the ball in harm's way. And then the accuracy rating, 23rd, not terrible, but certainly not as high as it used to be. QBR, 19th, and then wins above replacement per game started was 20th, which isn't fantastic. And then what's really concerning is the rush grade, which was only 16th. Now, people view Kyler as kind of a really good runner of the football, but last year he was about league average, which isn't what you want to see if you are an Arizona Cardinals fan. Now, he's got a really strong arm. Of course, he's got those really quick feet. He's got some high-end traits. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that the production just simply isn't there. Blame that on Cliff Kingsbury if you want, but I think that Kyler Murray is an insanely overrated quarterback, and to call him a star right now I think is completely presumptuous, and I don't call him a star whatsoever. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Is Kyler Murray a star-level quarterback in this league? Type S if you think he's a star, or if you think he's overrated like me, type O down there in the comments section. And I'm going to piss a lot of Cowboys fans off here with this name, but yes, Dak Prescott is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the National Football League because he's very, the consensus is saying like he's a top 8 quarterback, maybe slightly inside or the top 10, like 9 or 10. Do these numbers look like a top 10 quarterback to you? Hell no, man. Big time throw percentage, 25th in the league. He was turning the ball over at a high clip last year at 3.8%. His accuracy rating was about league average, right? QBR and wins above replacement per game were a little bit higher, but like, is this really a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League? I say no. I say Dak Prescott is about as mid as it comes. And if you're trying to say that he's a bona fide top 8 quarterback, I really have to question your knowledge on ball because everything that you look at with Dak Prescott is mid. He doesn't have elite arm strength. He's got really bad pocket presence, actually. And I just don't really think that he's somebody that can really carry a team to a Super Bowl title. Now, in the NFC this year, he made a couple moves. Cowboys could be pretty darn good this year, and this might be Dak's year because the NFC is just so damn weak. But, when I look at Dak Prescott, I don't see the same caliber of guy as when I look at guys like Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. So let me know what you guys think about Dak Prescott down in the comments section. Am I just being a hater or do I have a point here? Is Dak Prescott a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League? Give me a hell yes or a hell no down there in the comments section. Now, before I go, I want to have a little bit of an honorable mention here because I couldn't put 6 names on here. It's a top 5 list, but I wanted to kind of discuss Jared Goff for a little bit here because I do think that he is being completely overrated. Just remember, a couple of years ago, the Los Angeles Rams traded a haul to go get Matthew Stafford to get rid of Jared Goff. Okay, just remember that fact. And last year, he had a pretty darn good season, 65% completion, almost 4,500 yards, which is really freaking good, 29-7 touchdown to interception ratio. And people look at those numbers and they say, Jared Goff is an awesome quarterback. Here's the thing with Jared Goff. Like Brock Purdy, he's kind of a system quarterback. In Detroit, Ben Johnson runs a very similar passing game to Sean McVay. The same offense that he ran in Los Angeles. And only Los Angeles, in the final couple years, they had a terrible offensive line and no run game, whereas the Lions had a really great run game and an awesome offensive line. So Jared Goff is the type of guy, when I watch him on film, he leaves yards on the field all the time. And Ben Johnson is one of the best offensive play callers in the National Football League. And Goff, even with the numbers that he has, there's still more on the table that he's leaving on there. So he's another guy that doesn't have great pocket presence. He doesn't move well in the pocket. He hates being pressured. So I think the Lions will be pretty darn good, which is why I didn't include the Goff on this list. I think the offense will actually be pretty functional. But I think that Goff, being considered a top 10 quarterback right now, is absolutely asinine. And he's mostly a system quarterback at this point. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you always know when we put out new content here on YouTube.